Pulp MX Network production.
EVS Sports brings you a cheeky Brit and an American YouTube racing sensation weekly on the LVK More Than Moto podcast. Here's your hosts, Phillips and Kellen Brauer.
Welcome back to the EVS Sports LVK More Than Moto podcast here on the Steve Mathis Podcast Network. I am Kellen Brauer from MotoOnline.com. Lewis Phillips from Vital MX in studio with me. Pro Motocross is upon us, Lewis. The great outdoors. We're finally here. It's warm. I'm so happy it's warm. The weather is great. And we're ready to go racing outdoors this week.
Is this warm by California standards?
No, it's definitely not warm by California standards. Like, we're going to have a pretty...
I feel like this is still quite cold for California.
No, I mean...
It's getting there.
Regular for California. But we're going to have like a nice weekend of racing. Like, it's not going to be hot.
Yeah.
It's going to be just good temperatures, sunshine... No rain.
A random dip in the temperatures this weekend, so helpful.
A random dip? Like, oh, you mean it's this and it's going to go down? Okay, I thought you meant like randomly at 2 p.m. we're going to get really cold.
No, like as in like Thursday's quite hot, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is colder, and then and then Monday is like really hot.
Yeah. So we're finally getting to go outdoors, and this is going to be your first opportunity to see a lot of these tracks that you haven't been to, and actually experience a full motocross season in the USA for the first time. So this isn't a topic, but what are you most excited about?
Budds Creek.
Budds Creek?
Budds Creek.
Just because the nostalgia and all that, or?
I don't know. I just think it's a cool place, cool track.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, I've ridden there, but I've not seen it like with spectators and with good riders.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's iconic to me. Like even, I've been to Redbud, so that kind of takes away some of the Redbud excitement. But even if I hadn't been to Redbud, I believe I would still be more excited to see Budds Creek.
Yeah. One thing I'm interested to see with you is the GPs, there's so much variance in surface type, location, temperature, like all this stuff because you're going so many different places in the world. I'm interested to see if you feel like we get to round 8 or 9 and you're like, oh, this feels repetitive. Like this feels like the same track, the same mulch, the same that again or not.
We will see. Time will tell.
Time will tell.
I'm on the docket for them all except High Point.
Are you happy that this weekend we don't have to travel though?
No, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I honestly don't mind traveling.
Yeah. I
mean, I booked my flight to Missouri last night and I have a shit connection, so I'm not excited about that travel. But yeah. Apart from that, I'm fine with like going to airports and flying. Is 5 hours too much of a connection?
Oh, like layover?
Yeah.
That's a long
Pushing
time.
it.
But you're flying to Europe, so like, what's the time? Are you flying in the morning and then connecting and then have a night flight, or what are you doing?
Out of San Diego, 7 a.m. to Atlanta, 5 hours, and then to Italy.
So you take off from Atlanta like 10 p.m. or something, like 8 p.m.
6, I think.
Oh, 6, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, at least you get to like chill down a little bit and have a break.
Nice guy Lewis. I could have done. So my travel buddy is a Steve Mathis, and he arrives at 1 p.m. And my choice was I could have done this flight with a shit layover and arrived at 10 a.m. or a much better flight and arrived at 7 p.m. that night. And I didn't do the 7 p.m. one. Same price. Didn't do the 7 p.m. one, which was better for me because I didn't want to make my travel partner wait in the airport for 6 hours for me to arrive.
You're such a nice guy.
I know. Underrated nice guy.
Underrated. So that means you're waiting at the airport with a rental car. Like, hey, buddy, just waiting for you in the cell phone lot, or I don't know.
I think if a rental car is in his name, so I will just be
so you have to wait at the airport. Okay, gotcha. You don't get to go out, do something for a couple hours, then come back.
It's 3 hours. So by the time you've cleared security and stuff, I'll just sit in McDonald's.
Yeah, but if you're already in an airport and a plane for that long, I want to get the heck out of the airport.
Well, yeah, it's going to be miserable. I don't understand why there's not direct flights.
I don't know.
No.
Where Milan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of, well...
Like even from LAX, no direct flight. From everywhere, no direct flight.
I've found that a lot. For some reasons, like leaving Southern California, you have to do like Frankfurt or Heathrow, then to something else. So I don't know. Just over there, the way.
To be honest, it would have. Now that I think about it, it would have made so much more sense for me to just go LAX, Heathrow, and then just book a little internal flight
at Gatwick Airport. Is that what it is?
Heathrow, either or.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you just say you like flying out of Gatwick. So.
Yeah, I should have done that in hindsight. Anyway, on with the show.
Well, this is the travel portion of the podcast, as we always have every week. But we're going to have a fun topic to end this one that's similar to travel. Before we get into the show this week and our 6 topics that we have on hand to preview Pro Motocross, I want to give a big shout out, of course, to EVS Sports. Experience the pinnacle, the pinnacle of knee protection and injury prevention with the EVS Web Eclipse knee brace. For over 39 years, EVS has relentlessly honed their engineering expertise, consistently delivering award-winning knee braces. This legacy of excellence is embedded in every facet of the new Web Eclipse, which represents their culmination of their tireless dedication to innovation and rider safety. Use code LVK30 to save 30% off today. And don't get choked up like me reading the ads. Namura also presenting us the show, the leading provider of engine components for motocross, ATV, UTV, and personal watercraft for over 2 decades. Namura has been the preferred choice for premium and dependable engine components for more than 20 years. Whether you're restoring your vintage bike, rebuilding your four-wheeler, or upgrading your new 450 race motor, Namura has you covered. Our extensive line of cast and forged pistons, connecting rods, gasket kits, engine valves, and soon cylinder kits that enhance your engine's performance. Keep an eye out for our new and innovative products in 2024 and beyond. Stay up to date by following us on at Instagram at Namura_technologies. And a big shout out to Racetech as well. They have a couple Racetech fan topics for us this week. For 40 years, Racetech has been supplying the motorcycle industry with high-quality suspension components made right here in the USA. For modern and vintage, Racetech is your go-to source for suspension performance. So big shout out to all the sponsors, and big shout out to everyone who listens too, because we've made it through Supercross, we're into Motocross. Lewis, I got a text last night before we get into our topics from an unnamed source that said you were great on last week's podcast.
Oh,
so you're crushing it, dude.
friend of Lewis?
Friend of ours, yes.
Do I know them?
Yeah.
Presuming if they're my friend.
You've met them recently. But let's get into our topics and get
Your friend?
No.
Who I met in Nashville?
No.
Oh.
I'll
I've
tell
only
you after
met
the show.
a motocross person?
Ish. Okay, let's get into our topics and jump into
Chase?
it because it's Pro Motocross season, folks. We got the great outdoors coming up, and our first topic of the day is really just to highlight, look, we know who the favorites are going to be for the most part. We know that Jett's going to be really good on a 450. We know that pretty much all these 250 title guys indoors are going to be guys that we expect to battle for 250 titles outdoors. So, Lewis, I'll pitch it to you first. Let's start 450s, actually. Who's your biggest sleeper in the 450 class? Like, we're totally underrating how they could do outdoors this year.
Well, I believe that the top 5 will be locked out. Jett, Chase, Hunter, Cooper, Ferrandis, Anderson, Barsha. There's not going to be room for, like, a satellite rider to really break into the top 5 much, if at all, until we get injuries.
Yep.
If we get injuries. Yeah, so there's that. But despite that, I do believe that the Club MX duo, Marchbanks and Nicoletti, will be better than we expect.
Yeah, I agree with the Marchbanks pick. He would probably be my biggest dark horse, as in, like, he can podium on his days.
That's a bit much, maybe, but okay.
He literally got second in a moto last year.
Yeah, I could have got second in a moto last year.
Okay,
that was a joke. That was a joke. That was a comment on the amount of injuries we had last year. That was a joke. A joke.
Marchbanks is good enough that he could get into that top 5.
Yeah, he can get a 5th on occasion.
Exactly. Yeah. And with that, like you mentioned, if the attrition goes up, then he becomes a guy that we're like, oh, suddenly he's maybe a podium contender later in the year. He's starting hurt. He's going to be coming off this thumb injury a little bit. So even the
started
team,
riding Friday, just gone.
Right. Even the team says he's not 100%. I think Marchbanks would admit, like, it's going to be a rough first month or so, maybe until the break. But he's definitely a guy I could see building up to that level. I don't want to say this guy's a sleeper, but I do think people are massively sleeping on Dylan Ferrandis because they're just like, not on a factory bike anymore. What's he going to do outdoors? But it's freaking Dylan Ferrandis. Like, he's a former champion of this class. Again, I don't want to call him a sleeper because I don't think he is, but I do think people are sleeping on him.
Does Ferrandis win a moto this year?
No, but that's because I don't think Jett is going to be worse than he was last year.
In order of number of podiums, will it be Jett, Chase, Ferrandis third?
Well, yeah.
As in, will he get more podiums than
Chase Sexton?
Anderson,
No.
Barsha,
yes,
etc., etc.
Yes.
Hooper,
Hooper?
Hunter or Cooper?
I think I put him like on that Hunter Cooper balance zone right now. I think he is better than them on a 450 outdoors.
And we think that Hunter and Cooper are better than Barsha and Anderson.
I would say that, yes. But I of course we have to see what Ferrandis looks like on that Honda outdoors. But I think that it's it's okay to expect him to be much better than he was in Supercross, right?
Yeah, but that's a given. I think the litmus test is comparing him against outdoors in years gone by. And last year, he was a third place guy.
He finished second in the championship.
Third place. I'll tell you what's weird. I have no memory of Ferrandis in outdoors last year. I know he was on the podium occasionally, but if you told me he dropped out of the series at round 6, I'd be like, sure.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Ferrandis to me is that last year, the story constantly was doesn't like the bike, battling the bike. And then towards the end of the year said like things are turning around, I'm feeling better, but he was already out of the team, so it doesn't make a difference.
But my point here is, so if he finishes third place a lot, that would just be the same as last year.
Yes.
So for it to be better, he has to win a moto.
The reason I'm saying I think people are sleeping on him is because it generally feels like people are like, oh, he was a 7th place guy in Supercross. He's going to be a 7th place guy outdoors.
I think that is generally the reaction to Ferrandis indoors and out preseason always.
Like he's always kind of slept on, is what you mean.
Kind of forgettable.
Yeah. But I think he'll be better than we're expecting.
Not the most exciting, before we move on to 250s, my only other entrant for sleeper is Derek Drake, but I highly doubt his bike will stay together long enough for us to see that. But Derek Drake is definitely a much better rider than people give him credit for.
Yes, and we missed you at the Stopwatch National last Thursday.
I didn't miss me. I was happy.
Derek Drake led 20 minutes of the first moto. I don't think he was trying to participate though. Like there's a weird mix at this thing because there were guys that were like, yeah, I want to treat this like a race, and then there were guys that were like, I want to treat this like a test. And I think Derek Drake was testing. I don't know, maybe fitness was a little bit not there, but he led the first 20 minutes of the first moto, didn't race the second moto. He looked really fast. Like he was comfortable running that pace. And I get it. It wasn't against.
Rider.
Yeah, he's a good rider, but like he was faster than Brock Tickle, who won the overall, for example. Like he's very good.
250 wise, would it be outrageous to say Jett Reynolds? Is he even starting the series?
He is, yeah.
I mean, I say this purely on the basis that expectations are rock bottom. So the only way is up.
Yeah.
He finishes in the top 10 and that's, whoa, look, Jett Reynolds is here.
Yeah. He's definitely one of those, like, no one is, they forgot about him.
Expectations are rock bottom.
They are rock bottom. Can we say guys that are like, we know they're going to be good because of who they are, but we're not sure how they'll fare outdoors, like a Thrasher or like a Rider D or something like that? Like we should just assume the factory guys are going to be good, or can we say like, oh, I think people think they're going to be outside of the top 10 because we haven't seen much of them outdoors, but they might actually be better than that? Can you say that?
Yeah, you can say that.
And is it fair to call them a sleeper then?
So who's your name?
I feel like I want to buy some like Rider D stock a little bit.
I considered mentioning him.
Yeah.
But then also I don't know, because the case studies aren't great.
Because
well, look at the results. I mean, I'm not I by no means do I mean this to come across like slander, but to date there has not been much to shout about.
Yeah.
So if you're a betting man and you're taking this seriously, you would lean on that and go, maybe it's a bit outrageous to bet on him being a top 5 guy.
Yeah.
I would bet that I would think that he will be better than Pierce.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that I would put them at a very similar level.
Okay. Is that a good level?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think that they're both top 10 guys, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, Rider D is a top 10 guy. When you mentioned his name, I felt like you were elevating him to a
I'm
top
just saying
5
like
podium guy.
So let's think about some names here because I have a few written down. So we got Hampshire, Vial, Deegan, Kitchen, Shimoda, Savachi, Swole, Shock, Brown, McAdoo, Hammaker, Bennick, Smith, and I haven't even mentioned Rider D. So where does he fit into that?
Well, you're going to have to read the list slower if you want me to play that game.
Hampshire, Vial, Deegan, Kitchen, Shimoda. Better than Rider D?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's outside the top 5. Then we go Savachi.
Okay.
Jalik Swole.
I'd say Rider D.
Okay. Pierce Brown, who we already kind of talked about.
Yeah, Rider D's in there.
Cameron McAdoo.
When he's healthy, he is the best of this group.
Okay. Seth Hammaker.
When he's healthy, he is the best of this group.
Daxton Bennick.
Nope.
Jordan Smith.
I hear that Jordan is flying at the test track.
I think Jordan's going to be, honestly, maybe a sleeper. Like, underrated guy that could maybe get on the box pretty consistently outdoors.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think that's another guy that we should mention there. But yeah, like that Ryder D, Hymas, Julian Beaumare's being a rookie this year. Kind of like, yes, they weren't amazing in Supercross, but maybe you give them a little bit more, that intensity, that wiggle room outdoors to not be so buttoned up and try to be polished indoors, and they're a little bit better.
Yeah, I would put Hymas in the sleeper category. 250s is going to be really good.
It is. It's and a lot of guys are healthy, which is great. Obviously, we're missing like Faulkner, Voland,
McAdoo.
Oh yeah, he's not going to start the season,
No.
right? Yeah, but he'll come back.
Well, they'll all come back.
Yes, but I'm saying McAdoo will be quicker than Faulkner and Voland, for example.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be very good. And it kind of rolls us right into our second topic because we just ended our first one. So of that group in the 250 class that we just mentioned and sleepers included, I want you to name me who is going to win motos on a 250 outdoors this year.
Okay. RJ, Levi, Deegan, Vial. Obviously.
Yep.
I will give Shimoda a token moto win.
Just one.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's it.
That's it. Those are the 5. And we're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No. And Shimoda gets 1.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's say those 5 get moto wins. If you had to pick a 6th, who would be the first name to just be like, okay, he's right on the fringe, but I can't put him on there?
Honestly, I feel so confidently that this fringe is a canyon that I don't even have a name.
Okay.
I feel like we're going to see separation, and those 4, similar to 2012, Roxon, Barsha, Tomac, Baggett, if I'm remembering that season correctly, those 4 were massively. They were dominated the top 4. I feel like we could be in for that.
I don't necessarily feel as strongly about the canyon that you do. And if I had to pick a 5th guy, like I would, any of those names that I just mentioned, Savachi, Swole, like I think that they could win motos.
Honestly, the name I was leaning towards was Jordan.
Oh, Jordan too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Obviously he was, would you say yes or no, fastest rider at Salt Lake City?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
As I said to him in my post-race interview, that may have been the best race of his career.
Right. And when I asked him about his outdoors expectations, he was metered, but he's like, I've never come into an outdoor season healthy, with momentum, with like anything. Like I've never had that flow. And this is completely unfamiliar territory, which could mean really good things.
Yeah.
So
I think I would like that.
Okay, so I agree with you about the 5 that win motos. You seem to be higher on the front-facing group of like Vial, Kitchen, Deegan,
Hampshire.
And Hampshire. Okay, so let's just say those 4 right now, and you don't want to. Shimoda gets a token win, so we have 21 moto wins on the table.
Yep.
Divvy them up.
Oh boy. Well, that's hard, isn't it? Because I can't do the exact number because that's too
ballpark.
I'd have to sit down with a pen and a bit of paper. Give Vial 30%, Deegan 30%, RJ 20%, and Levi 20%.
Okay. So you think that there's like a slight step that Vial and Deegan are on?
I think Vial and Deegan are 1A and 1B.
1A, 1B. Okay.
And RJ and Levi are 2A and 2B.
We saw RJ last year start really strong, but not stay at that level. Do you think that we're at the RJ level that will be consistent this year, though?
I don't know. We spoke about this, how his like demeanor has changed.
Yeah.
And he's much more measured now, like off the bike.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of feel like he's going to come in with serious championship ambition, and I think that changes his approach and his, not his motivation, but his, what's the word? His, motivation, I guess.
Yeah.
I think he comes in thinking, I'm going to win this championship, and therefore he's very measured week to week.
Yeah, I would agree. So let's talk about Vial versus Deegan then for a title standpoint. If you think they're going to win 30% of the motos, I think we both agree we would right now give the nod to Vial based on consistency, correct?
Not based on consistency, but I will give the nod to Vial.
So then what's pushing you above with Vial?
I think Vial will be the best rider in this class.
So you think that like him and Deegan will have similar scores, but then Vial will just have a few more moto wins,
Yeah.
overalls, or whatever.
Vial's upside will be like 1% better than Deegan's.
Yeah. Obviously, last year with Vial, he came here and it was just a learning experience all year long, learning tracks, learning this, learning that. How much different do you think he approaches a weekend in year 2?
I don't
Like
believe...
just no questions at all.
Yeah, there's not a difference of approach. There's just a difference of being confident and being comfortable.
Right.
But anyway, did you do your moto winners?
I would say for me, and you're gonna
Vial
love
perfect season.
you're gonna love this answer. I'll give Vial like 8 moto wins.
Right.
Deegan 7,
Right.
1 less. Shimoda 4
Right.
or 5-ish, somewhere in there, and then the remaining motos split between Levi and
Wait. So what is that?
RJ.
What are the remaining
so
motos?
8, 7 is 15, 4 for Shimoda, and we
So
we
2
think
each.
that there would be
1 each. 1.5 each.
basically 1 moto win each, 1 or 2 moto wins each for Levi and
Okay.
RJ.
You are insane.
I'm insane.
You are insane.
Well, Shimoda may
I mean,
be,
I don't
maybe
think-
the biggest sleeper.
I don't think RJ and Levi get a ton, maybe. Levi especially. I think Levi is my maybe 2C instead of 2B.
So let me ask you this about Levi. In the show earlier this year, maybe 4 or 5 episodes ago, you said that you thought Levi was the best 250 rider in the world right now.
in Supercross. I said the best 250 Supercross rider right now.
I thought you said rider.
The best 250 Supercross rider.
Okay, so then let me ask you this about Levi. In the past on the Star Bike, he'd won motos, but it was the same thing in Supercross. He would
Where he
start 8th
finished.
and finish 8th. He would start first and finish first. On the PC bike, he's consistently starting, except for Salt Lake City, top 4, let's say. So does that change the fact that he's always up front, how you view his season?
I need to see it first.
Okay.
Because his starts weren't as good towards the end of the year. There's going to be a lot of very fast bikes in the 250 class. So I need to see where that... Basically, Parler will tell me where Kitchen is at.
Yeah.
If he whole shots both motos and wins, then it's quite obvious. If he starts 10th each time and finishes 8th, then okay, maybe more of the same of last year. I really need to see. I feel like I have a pretty good handle on where Vial, Deegan, and Hampshire are at, but I don't feel like I'm that zeroed in on what Kitchen has to offer.
Well, with Paula specifically, what I'm curious your opinion of is we always treat Anaheim 1 as the outlier. Until this year, it had been 11, 12 years since the A1 winner went on to win the title in the 450 class, for example. So we always kind of write it off as like, it's random.
Yeah.
And this weekend, it's not going to be hot. It's going to be a track that all these guys ride a lot. Can we not just say that this is also a random weekend? Like, yes, Levi, we might be able to draw some conclusions with, but otherwise it might just be whatever we get this weekend could mean nothing for the rest of the year.
I cannot recall a first round at Parler that provided that random results. And also, you say this about Anaheim 1, but in reality, Jett won, Webb was really good, Chase was quite good.
This year is the outlier. This is the one year that it was different. Every other year before
No, but
that,
even
it's like
last year,
Barsha battling
last
for
year,
wins.
Tomac was really fast, Chase was really fast, Webb was really fast. Wow, that really didn't set us up for the rest of the year, did it?
Yeah.
2022, Roxham won. Okay, so that was a weird one. But it wasn't exactly weird because health took over. It's not like Roxon just forgot how to ride a bike. He was just unhealthy, so it was circumstance. So, no, the results this weekend will be on not going to be an exact indicator, of course, but it's not like you're going to have me go 1-1 and then be like, well, I'm not sure Lewis can keep this up.
You're interjecting yourself into these motos a lot today.
I was going to say a rider's name, but then I was like, I'm just shitting on a rider.
Yeah,
then.
so you just shit on yourself.
Yeah,
instead.
exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Pivoted at the last minute.
In a roundabout way.
I was going to say Derek Drake goes 1-1, and I was like,
okay, so I think we have it. Our top 5 is the exact same. I put Shimoda slightly higher.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's pretty much the exact same.
I heard a rumor that Shimoda
Was hurt.
wasn't going to start
He was riding, not racing, but riding at Glen Helen.
and looked like riding,
Fine.
doing laps. Okay, I guess he's fine.
He wasn't. Was he pounding motos? No. Did he look uncomfortable riding? No.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
But hey, look, we always say Shimoda starts the season slow. Now he has an excuse.
Fair.
So then he'll build up into the second half of the season. We'll be like, remember that injury Shimoda was dealing with the whole time. Okay, so that's 250 motocross. Let's get into our first non-moto topic of the day. This is another Racetech fan question, and Racetech Gold Valves provide a plush feel with drastically improved bottoming resistance and increased traction. All Racetech products are 100% guaranteed and made in the USA. We're still digging back on some old non-moto topics we asked on Twitter, also known as X. So follow myself and Lewis Phillips over there if you guys want to get involved in the conversation. But this is from @AidenIrvin1, who we've had ask a couple questions. And I feel like this one's going to be straightforward for both of us, but it'll be fun to debate. Would you rather live on the 20th floor of an apartment building with walkable amenities or on a 20-acre plot of land that is a 30-minute drive to the nearest town?
A.
As in town?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you were going to go the other way.
I'm 100% the other way.
Wait, what was the other one?
The other one is 20-acre plot of land that is 30-minute drive to the nearest town.
No, fuck that.
Oh, okay. Gosh, I thought you were going to go that way with me.
No, why would you want that?
Because, listen.
I can build a track.
Well, yeah. And I like the not being right next to your neighbors, not being all just bunched apart and every time I get on the road, there's traffic everywhere. And I don't like that. Even though I'm from Southern California, it's not one of my favorite things about it.
Exactly. That's why point A has walkable amenities.
So you want to live in a downtown area, basically.
No, a penthouse suite of an apartment block. Sign me up.
In a downtown area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't be downtown. I'll be in the clouds.
In the clouds.
Yeah.
So you'll be uptown.
Have you seen those TikToks? Do you spend much time on TikTok?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sad. There's a lot of TikToks going around of people showing off their top floor New York apartment, and they're literally above the clouds.
Yep.
And they show around like they have a supermarket on the third floor, a basketball court on the fourth floor.
So this is you.
So in my mind, this is what I'm picturing, and I want that.
You want that. You could do all of that in a house where no one else is around.
Well, like I stayed at Anstey's house for 2 weeks, and he's got a decent amount of not land, but like a massive garden. I didn't use it once. It's just a waste of time.
Honestly, I love that having a massive garden is such it sounds so British.
Why?
I don't know. Just I go out back and frolic in the hedges and stuff like that.
You're gonna so you've got all that land.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna build a track.
Yeah.
Realistically, let's be honest, you'll build a track and you'll barely use it.
No, I would 100% ride every day.
That's how it goes. It sounds like a great idea. You build it and then you go, can I be bothered? No.
Let me tell you something. When I was growing up, my parents' house that I grew up in, we had a half acre or something like that. It was a decent amount of land, but not like we had a farm or something. And I built BMX jumps in the backyard, and I was on them every single day.
Yeah, I also was on BMX jumps a lot when I was 10.
Yeah, so that would just be me 20 years later.
No.
Yeah.
Because life gets in the way. And then you've got to clean up, and it's it's a lot of commitment to go out and ride even though it's in your backyard. Trust me, Kellen, you're not going to use it.
Okay, well, on top of that, I also like owning pets. I would like to have animals at some point, livestock and stuff like that. So it'd be really cool to run a farm and an operation like that and have plenty of land to do it and not be confined to a restrictive space. I also don't particularly love a bunch of neighbors always deciding noise and all this stuff. I like just being in my own world.
I've lived in my apartment now for 5 months.
Yep.
Not seen another person. Don't know if they exist. Not heard them, not seen them, not bumped into them. I have no idea.
Before I moved into the house that we live in here, we lived in an apartment, and the neighbors below us constantly complaining about us being too loud. And
talking or footsteps?
No, footsteps. And we weren't stepping loud or doing anything like that. We didn't have a child at the time. We had a dog, but we weren't really playing with the dog because he was pretty old. So we were just kind of hanging out, not really doing much. When that person left, when we left, we found out that person was so pissed off that we left because we were much quieter than the neighbors that moved in after them. And that's what I freaking hate about neighbors and people. It's we were being polite and courteous, and they came in and complained about us.
Well, maybe it's a you problem because no one's complained about me.
Well, you're napping in the middle of the day too, so right?
No.
Well, we were trying to get you to go out with us on Saturday, you took a nap.
Yeah, that was a unique situation.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not that guy. No. No, it's obviously B or A or whatever that one was.
Why? I just don't like downtown. Cool, but not me.
Yeah, like in the clouds. Sick. You can walk
Sick.
everywhere. Think about how much money you've got if you're living there as well.
Well, obviously, I'm not trying to compare like the income gap that you would have if you lived in town. You'd probably make a lot more money.
Just it'll be a proper like rich guy lifestyle. I'm picturing like the apartment they have in Power.
I don't watch this show, so you keep referencing it,
It's the
but like
best show ever.
you keep referencing, but I don't know what you're
series
talking
comes
about.
out in 2 weeks. I'll do a review pod with you if you like.
Great, we got a review pod on the show.
Yeah, no, it's obvious. There's no question in my mind because ultimately, yeah, all of this land sounds good, but as I said, you're not going to use it.
So let me ask you this then: if you lived in downtown in the USA, would you partake in all those like?
No.
Just so no sporting events, no concerts, no comedy clubs, no movies, nothing.
No.
Just live in an apartment and never leave.
Well, no, not never leave, but I ain't fucking partaking in. Like, what am I going to partake in?
So what are you doing? You live downtown and you're next to all this stuff, all this walkable
No, well,
amenities.
what are you doing? You're in a house and you got a field. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm going out and riding my dirt bike and playing baseball with my friends and like all that kind of stuff.
Well,
Outdoor activities, which I like doing.
It's unlikely. You're living in a fantasy land. I've said it before.
You're living in a
Kellen.
fancy land.
I've
You
said
live
it before,
downtown in the
Kellen.
clouds.
I've said it before. You need to get your head out your ass.
You just
and
talked
get
about
real.
having a basketball court in your apartment in New York City. You're living in the clouds.
I've said you before. Get your head out your fucking ass.
Yeah. So you want to live close to amenities, but do not want to use these amenities.
Well, no, like amenities, yeah, like life stuff that you need.
As in, like, you want to live close to a grocery store.
And other stuff you need.
And other stuff, as in a
I ain't
Target.
going, like, what do you want me to do? Go and partake in a sport event? Like, oh, is this a local dodgeball club? Can
That's
I
what
ever
people
go?
like living downtown for.
Fuck no.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So you just don't care about anything else around you other than something is
I
close
ain't
for me to
joining
be
a
able to
club.
buy my food. Huh?
I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I can't be arsed with it.
Okay.
I ain't got the time.
All right.
Like, I'm just not that guy. Oh, there's a badminton club.
I have a tough time not believing, but imagining you being in like a suit and tie working as like a lawyer downtown
Oh,
or
no, I'd be
something.
doing the same job I do now.
Oh, really? You did cover motocross and live in a downtown area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to squash my dreams?
Because every motocross track is nowhere near a downtown area.
Yeah. we get a plane, Kellen. We get a plane every week. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah, but that's just because it's like our
Fun
specific job.
fact, High Point is 20 minutes from where I live. Thunder Valley is 30 minutes. That's not how it works. Get your head out your ass, Kellen. You have to get a plane. If you're downtown, you're going to be near an airport.
Yeah, but you're specifically talking about our job, which our job has been derived from the fact we were interested in the sport in the first place. No. So when you grew up riding and racing, what, you lived in downtown London and fucked off to the countryside and rode and raced?
What
No.
does that have to do with anything? I'm not going back in time. I'm not starting my life again. I'm just moving to a place.
Okay. So if you could start over again and you would just...
That's not the question. The question is just where would you move to?
Okay.
Not where would you start your life from again.
All right. Pick a city.
To be honest, if I'm 1 year old, I'm not going to have much use of a downtown loft apartment.
So you're likely moving soon. Are you going to move to that downtown area then? Oh, no, you're not, are you?
Well, no, because it costs a lot of money, Kellen. I've not got my head in my arse like you. I'm real. I know my
Basketball
situation.
courts in downtown New York City.
I know my situation.
Yeah. Well, I would pick option B, whatever it was. I don't want to be close to people.
Yeah, and it
I want
sounds
my own
great
land.
having a track, but
Yep.
you've got to be real. You're just not going to use it, and you're not going to be able to justify. You're going to be, I've got to drive 2 hours to get to the airport this weekend. Well, at least I've got a track that I don't use.
You got to be real. You're not going to be bothered to go downstairs to your basketball court and shoot hoops all day long. You got a job to do.
Exactly, but at least I'm in a convenient place, and it's quite nice
I'm
and
convenient
fancy.
place too. I got the dirt bike track right outside my garage.
No,
Okay,
you're wrong.
I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Oh, man. All right, halfway through the show, big shout out to EVS Sports. Experience the pinnacle of knee protection and injury prevention with the EVS Web Eclipse knee brace. For over 39 years, EVS has relentlessly honed their engineering expertise, consistently delivering award-winning knee braces. This legacy of excellence is embedded in every facet of the new Web Eclipse, which represents the culmination of their tireless dedication to innovation and rider safety. Use code LVK30 to save 30% off today. All right, second half of the show, Lewis, we're going to get back into some more pro motocross topics. We already discussed the 250 class. Now we're going to talk about the 450 class, but in a bit of a different nature than just talking about moto winners and stuff like that. Well, kind of. But Jett Lawrence is in the midst of a perfect motocross career thus far. He hasn't lost a moto outdoors yet. He is 22-0. He has 22 consecutive moto wins, which, based on my research, puts him fourth all-time on a list of Ricky Carmichael, James Stewart, and now Jett Lawrence for consecutive moto wins. How long does this go? The season is about to start. Does it go on beyond round 1, beyond round 2, the rest of the year? What are we thinking?
Well, let me ask you, does he go undefeated?
No.
Okay. I also say no, because logic says that at some point, something has to happen. Even if he is the very, 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 very best rider, at some point there will be rain, a bike problem, a first turn crash, whatever. And I believe that that has to happen at some point. Lucky for it to not happen last year, as we know luck comes into a perfect season quite a lot. The chances of having that luck 2 years in a row, unlikely. I would say that by round... I honestly feel like, and I'll tell you what my my basis of this is. I feel like he loses Moto 1 this weekend.
Yeah, just straight away it's over?
Because I feel like that's happened in the past with people.
Yeah.
I think back to 20... I want to say 14. Hurlings was in MX2 and what? Why are you laughing at me?
I thought you were talking about pro motocross. We
No,
just go right to Hurlings.
It's all motocross racing, Kellen.
Okay, continue.
It's all relevant.
Continue.
Oh, frog in my throat. 2014 was a time when Hurlings was like, can he go undefeated? He's that good, blah, blah, blah. Straight away lost the very first moto to Dylan Ferrandis. And then went on a streak.
Yeah.
But just, it happens, you know?
Yeah.
So I could see that happening. Like, straight away loses Moto 1 and then wins 10 in a row. But just immediately, first moto of the season, everyone's green, everyone's excited, and it just happens. And we're like, oh.
Yeah.
But if you want me to place a bet on it, I'll say that by the end of round 4, he has lost a moto.
Okay. So, roughly speaking, he gets to maybe 28 consecutive moto wins the first 6 motos of the year. Could do.
See, even that sounds a lot.
That does sound a lot.
Let me say that, okay, let me change that. Not the end of round 4, the end of round... I think he loses a moto by the end of round 2. I'll be surprised if he goes 1-1-1-1.
Okay, so then the next question I have for you, and I agree. I think he actually does lose it this weekend. I think he goes 1-2, 2-1, 3-1, something like that, and somebody else wins a moto.
Because even 06, Hangtown, muddy, Carmichael crashed in the third turn.
Yeah.
Coming down that hill.
And it's like he's great at Fox Raceway, so this is not like a knock on he's not good at this track or whatever. Like, we fully expect him to be the best rider
Chase has a good
weekend.
record there as well, though.
I'm aware. But I think that just he has all the pressure just lifted of having won a 450 Supercross title as a rookie. There's been so much drama and up and down with that this year. He seemed like he was having less fun by the second half of the year too. I don't know if you got that same vibe.
I think that's just you.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I feel like when he came up to the 450 class last year, it was like, I don't know what's about to happen. Now with the pressure of you just won the Supercross title, you still have a perfect season on the back of your hands here. It's still going, as we're talking about right now. Then people are going to ask, how long can it go? How long is it going to keep going for? And then he's just going to be like, I'm done. Like, can we just stop this?
That will be the whole press conference on Thursday. It won't be about like winning the title. It will just be like, what Chase, what are you going to do to stop Jett's streak? Jett, what are you going to do to keep the streak going? It's just going to be that. Anderson, you've been around a while. How amazing is Jett? Like, it's just going to be a lot of that. You know, it'll be all about the streak, not the championship, and rightfully so. It's an interesting point. But yeah, I think it ends.
Okay. So as we discussed, though, there are a handful of guys that we think will end the streak, but who will be the first person to shoot across the bow in this situation?
I don't think there's a handful of guys.
Oh, really? You just think it's Chase and nobody else?
Chase and then Eli, if he eventually is help, but the streak should have ended by then. But meaning your moto winners this year are Jett, Chase, potentially Eli.
End of sentence.
End of sentence?
Okay.
I've still got Cooper and Hunter on my mind, or Hooper, as they like to be known. I've still got Hooper on my mind, but if I'm gonna have to bet, I'll go no.
I think I think it's probably Chase as well. But I think what would be an interesting storyline, and I can definitely see it happening, is Hunter wins the moto that stops it
This weekend.
or next.
Hunter's going to be really good.
I think so. But I think it's going to be one of those where like, and so here's another thing about Jett's perfect season last year. As you said, I could have finished second last year. The field was depleted.
Misquoted.
The field was depleted. So Jett almost always started top 5. There's a little bit more depth. I know Tomac and Webb are missing. There's a little bit more depth to start this year.
Yeah.
Where a top 5 start is not going to be a given for Jett every single time.
Yeah, and
I think that maybe hinders his ability to win motos.
We're not giving them the play here, but like Barsha could whole shot and just piss off.
Yeah.
So there's the more potential for stuff like that to happen. Yeah, I do believe it's going to be. I don't believe it's going to be the most interesting summer, but it will be more interesting than last year.
So if it ends this weekend or if it ends at Hangtown, obviously we think Jett's going to win the championship. But does anybody else hold the red plate this year?
Well, that's a ridiculous question. Because it's just like, that's not really, that's just a game of luck, really, isn't it?
Well, I'm trying to say if it does end this weekend and he splits moto scores with Chase 1-2, 2-1 or something like that, so then they're both holding the red plate. But let's just not say that they're tied for whatever reason.
Jesus.
Let's say it's 1-3 Chase and 2-1 Jett, and he wins this weekend. Does it give any of these guys like a little bit of a footprint to be like, he's beatable, we're good, here goes the title fight? Maybe he demoralizes them in the second half, but at the beginning it's a little bit more open.
Let me answer your question with this. If Jett and Chase both stay healthy, Jett doesn't lock it up around early.
So it goes to the end.
Yes.
Yeah. I could see that.
Which is, by that I'm saying, even if Jett does go on to win this championship, it will be a race. It will be a battle of sorts.
Okay. Yeah, more so than last year.
Yes.
Do you
well,
feel
no, not more so than last year, because it probably would have been that
if
had
Chase
Chase not got hurt.
Yeah.
It's revisionist history.
That's what was my next question to you, is that if Chase doesn't get hurt last year, does Jett not go perfect? And then on top of that, is it more of a title fight?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Chase would have been even if Jett did go 1-1-1-1, Chase would have been 2-2-2-2 and still right there, because you're not losing a clunk of points.
Yeah.
Or a clump of points.
A clunk of points?
A clunk of points.
We got to watch out for those clunks of
Yeah,
points.
well, tell Hooper about that.
Hooper, you're just hanging on to this. If we, real quickly to end this though, we think it's maybe this weekend, Hangtown or something early. But if you had to think about the tracks, the first 4 rounds of tracks, for example, do you have one that would be Jett's weakest?
No.
They're all good. They're all
It's all the
solid.
same, isn't it?
I would say Hangtown.
Why?
Because in the past, he hadn't had like tremendous Hangtown results.
To be fair, Webb kept it close at Hangtown last year.
Right. So I think that if he gets through Fox 1-1, I could see it ending at Hangtown, but I don't think he gets through Fox 1-1.
But to be fair, outside of Tomac, I don't feel as though Hangtown favours anyone.
No, but I just don't feel like Jett has this, like, he's really good at Fox. He's been very good at like High Point in the past. Like, he's better at these types of tracks than, Thunder Valley's pretty good at too. So I guess we could say that fits in. But I think either this weekend or Hangtown. Fair? Fair. All right, last moto topic of the day. And we're just kind of trying to go back and think about some revisionist history a little bit, because we talked about Max Anstie, we talked about Tommy Searle. And this week, instead of talking about riders that should have stayed, should have come, etc., we were trying to think of the topic of riders that came over to the USA and perhaps regretted it. Because there's been quite a few guys that have come over, surefire GP talents, on their way to winning multiple world titles, multiple races, battling for world titles, and came over here and were very good factory riders for a long time, but it just didn't pan out the way that maybe they expected to. And the first name that came to your mind and really that we wanted to talk about the most was Tyler Rattray.
No. So first of all, you've just completely set me up here. I said, let's discuss Tyler Rattray. End of sentence.
No, you didn't. You said you want to talk about Tyler Rattray came over here, but he could have stayed in Europe.
No,
That's what you said.
My point was, start the timer, by the way. My point was, Tyler Rattray, let's discuss him, because what my question was, did coming to the USA help the perception of him or hurt him? Because he came here, was a winner, podium guy, etc., which is good. But also, if he'd stayed in Europe, maybe he would have been a multi-time world champion. Also good. You clickbait media.
No, I said he was good.
Changed this to who regrets coming to the US. Lewis, you want to talk about Tyler Rattray?
No. Okay, not regrets, but had they stayed in GPs, history could have also favored them. He was fine here. He was also fine there. He chose to come here and was good. A title contender many times over. Didn't win a title, but was a solid effort here the entire time that he was here. And then chose to go back anyway. So it kind of works out that he didn't get everything done that he wanted to here in the first place. If you're Tyler Rattray, though, and you come over here to the U.S. in the first place, what are your goals? Win a Supercross title, win an outdoor title, right? And then transition to a 450 on a factory bike?
Yeah, I struggle to piece together Rattray's career in the correct moment. So he did the year on the PC 450, which was 13.
Yes.
Then he did the year on Ice 1 Husqvarna, which was 14. Then he did KRT.
Then he
50.
did KRT, yeah.
Then he retired.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Weird that. Pull up his results. Pull up the 2013 450.
Okay, do you have any thoughts about Tyler Rattray, though? Because so far I've asked you 3 questions and you haven't talked about it.
I've answered your questions with a question. No, it's an interesting one because I find Rattray's career interesting because A, no one talks about him. Don't know why. But B, he was like the not the can't miss kid, but in 05, 06, not so much 07. 07 was a slump. But 05 and 06, it was like, oh my, this guy will be champion if he can stay healthy. But he just couldn't stay healthy. And then he eventually got it done in 08. And I'd actually argue he was worse in 08 than he was in 05 and 06, speed-wise. He got it done in 08, and then he went to America, but that was never it was never a locked-in plan of oh yeah, Rattray's going. It was kind of a slapdash deal with Pro Circuit. So it's not that I wonder if he regrets it, because there's no way he would. He was a Supercross podium finisher and a title contender outdoors. It couldn't have gone much better.
Well, the one thing I'll say in looking at his results, and mind you, I don't remember exactly how it all worked out back then. It appears he did 2 years on a 450, which was a PC 450. And in 2013, he podiumed High Point on a 450. And he had several top 5 finishes in 2012. Like you said, he was a podium guy in 250 Supercross, but crucially never won a Supercross main event.
But equally, I don't think anyone would have expected him to.
But that probably hurt him way more than anyone really thinks about. He probably should have been on a factory 450, but I don't think anybody wanted him because he was not considered a Supercross guy.
I'm trying to think. So 09 he only did outdoors. So then 10, 11, 12, he had 3 years on a 250 in Supercross.
Yeah.
Second
at San Diego in 2011.
Would he really have got a 450 deal? He was so old, wasn't he? What's his date of birth?
Does it matter?
Yeah, because if he was 30, he wasn't gonna get picked up by a
Date of birth November 8th, 1985.
Okay, so how old would that make him in 2012?
27? No, 26. He'd be turning 27 that year.
Jesus. That was the 10th year of his career. I guess that adds up.
17 to 27. Yeah.
Actually adds up, yeah. Okay, for some reason, see, this is why I wanted to talk about him, because I feel like it's a bit of a weird, you just have a weird perception. I always just thought of Rattray as being this veteran in the 250 class.
Well, because, comparatively, he was 24, 25 when he's battling Dino, who's 17, 18. Baggett was probably early 20s at that point.
But then I feel like I looked at Rattray like that more than I do RJ.
Yeah, but I think you're right. Rattray always kind of looked old, felt old.
You are shocked as well, right?
I am a little shocked that he's that young. I thought he was teetering on 30s when he went back to GPs.
I was gonna say his last year in 250s he was 31.
Yeah.
So he retired quite early then.
Yeah.
31?
2015. Yeah, 31. Well, turning 31 basically. he would have been.
Yeah, so
retired.
early.
Yeah, early. But that's what I'm saying is that, like, so let's say he moves up to a 450 outdoors in 2012. As we just said, he still would have been only 26 years old and going 4.5, 5.4 outdoors on a 450. If you're a factory 450 team and you're seeing those results, there's no way, unless he had Supercross talent, you would say, not worth it.
Yeah, but I feel like from the outside looking in, he never had that excitement around him.
Sure, but I'm saying doesn't matter if there's no excitement. He was putting in the results.
It almost felt like a token gesture of like, oh, this is... Why are you laughing at me?
Because the token gesture is like your call phrase now at this point.
It almost felt like a token gesture of like, oh, Mitch likes Tyler and he's helping him live his American dream. That's
as he holds the red plate and win motos.
No, but you get what I mean. It was never like when do you ever remember there being and obviously we were both fans at that point. Do you ever remember there being a discussion or rumors about Rattray going here, Rattray going there? Nope.
No.
Exactly.
Really.
That's what I mean. He was never on the radar. I think that his overall perception of his career is hurt by the fact that he basically did 2 years in GPs to end. He left as a world champion, went back, and ultimately did fuck all.
Yeah. So
what laughter at Lewis today.
Well, but you keep going back to these like phrases that just would get you in trouble with this person if he ever hears the podcast.
Is Rattray even alive?
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, he could have.
No, he did do fuck all. No one couldn't dispute that.
Yeah, but he could have probably stayed in the U.S. and been a solid rider, right? He could have been a 450 guy, 7 to 10 in Supercross, top 5 outdoors, podiums.
So,
which is what? Brock Tickle, Jake Weimer?
Well, to your point, this building on that, he would have gone back to Europe and he would have been the first Husqvarna rider in 450s and led that team. That must have come with a good paycheck. Do we think he went back because he couldn't get a deal here? I think yes.
Yeah, I think so. But that's what I'm saying is that...
So he couldn't have been that guy because he didn't even have an opportunity to.
But his lack of Supercross success here, which you would consider is part of the reason that he did not land a factory 450 deal here. If he was not even a champion, a winner, he won Supercross main events, proved it on a 250, there's no way 450 teams would be like,
Okay, I'll flip this on its head. He had the red plate in Supercross, I'm certain, at one point. I want to say after Dodger Stadium one year, or at Dodger Stadium one year.
2011. Well, he finished 14th at LA in 2011.
That's not going to get it done. Or maybe heading in there. I feel like he definitely had it early in a season. With like 2-4-4 scores or something.
2-3-4, and then LA was his last race that year in 2012.
Okay, go to results.amasupercross.com. Okay. Go to the points after round 2 of 2012. 250s.
That's 450s.
Okay.
We're doing this again. We always do this on the podcast.
This is pub talk.
Oh, you're right.
Lewis and his brain.
1 point up on Cole Seeley.
Once again, Lewis and his brain.
Seeley went 1-5. Dean Wilson went 6-1. Rattray with a 2-3. But that was him, dude. He was always like 2-3, 2-3, 2-3, okay. Red plate. Oh, and then he's hurt.
So my point, which I've kind of forgotten, but I'm going to try and get it back. You're making such a big deal out of he never won a Supercross.
He didn't.
Huh?
He didn't.
No, but I feel like red plate holder, multiple podium finishes, consistent podium finishes, that's enough. Winning one Supercross, I feel like, doesn't really make that much of a difference when you're doing that well.
I just think that for them, they were like, Supercross is his weak point, and Supercross is... We need 450 factory guys to be good at Supercross.
Because this was the stigma. There was a weird stigma around him, but the results say otherwise.
Yeah.
And my other point, final point, maybe he was a victim of timing, because at that point, Barsha was coming up, Tomac was coming up, Roxon was coming up, Baggett was coming up, Marvin was coming up. So really, who's taking Rattray? I don't think it was so much because of his results, like you were saying. I think the perception of him was he's an old man, despite the fact he was only 27. He's on his way out. We need to, and these guys are much more exciting. Fair. So I think that was it.
Okay. So then the last question I'll ask you is, does he regret it?
No.
No.
I think he regrets going back to GPs. He probably regrets not just taking I'd love to know. Maybe Steve would know.
BTO KTM.
Yeah, like
deal for
that was exactly what I was thinking. He must have had an offer from like BTO or
something like
must
that.
have.
Maybe, I don't know.
But I feel like Rattray, from what I know, would have really cared about the factory tag.
Maybe.
I don't think he would have accepted.
When did he buy his place in Florida?
I don't know.
Was he? That couldn't have been before he went to GPs. He had a home in Florida that he trained people and went to GPs and then came back to
Well,
it.
no, because he was on pro circuit, so he wasn't training people, was he?
No, but I'm saying like if he has a home in Florida where he trains, he eventually trained people there. Now it's closed down, but he had a place. Was that before he left for Europe and was then came back and bought a place, or what? I don't know.
Must have been.
Right. Like post career, he went and bought a place.
Well, I feel like this debate struggled to get off the ground to begin with, but I feel like it turned around quite good.
Oh, it was rather interesting. Deep dive on.
See,
Tyler
I told
Rattray.
you. So Kellen didn't want to do this. I just wanted Tyler Rattray as a topic because basically, after what I said
Because
last,
we just keep going back to the same era.
no, because we'll do other eras, but like we said last week. But also, okay, so this is now going to take some time, this sidebar.
Okay, give me.
I feel like this is our little niche because Steve, Weege, etc. will always go to the 90s because that's what they, what's the word? Idolize? Not idolize.
No, most
romanticize.
Romanticize, sure.
Whereas Steve always says that he like loses his memory in the mid 2000s because it's all blends together.
So that's where we fill the
Whereas
gaps.
that's what we romanticize.
Yeah.
So this content isn't out there.
Yeah.
There's lots of content debating Damon Bradshaw's career, but there's none debating this era.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is our niche, and this is what we. And there was so much positive feedback last week about the pub talk with Tommy, and that I wanted to just pick a rider because I feel like the first few topics here were quite generic. I just wanted to pick a rider, and then we just go. And I felt like that was quite a good one. So fans don't really respond to when we ask questions on here and ask them to do stuff, which is sad. But send us a rider name that we can just go on. Like I'm thinking
Darren Durham.
Sure. No, I feel like that's quite simple, isn't it? Like just don't get concussed.
Don't get concussed.
No, like even Townley. I was going to say Townley. Like could have been so good, or would he have been, or should he have? Like
unfortunately, quite simple.
I guess there's only
Just
a few like
too much.
Rattray and stuff that are real.
Every time,
layers to them.
every time Townley had momentum here, he'd roll the windows up.
I'm trying to think of another good one. But Townley's interesting. Like,
Yeah. All right, the next week, Ben Townley. I'm in.
but like, because he was the can't miss kid when he left. Like his first 450 year was really good.
I'm aware.
So had he stayed, would he? And there was also that period where Phillips was a bloody world champion. So you've got to think that Townley would have paved those cracks before Crowley came along.
Oh, I'm aware. We could deep dive this.
Could have
all
even stopped.
day long.
Could have even. There we go. See, you would have. See, originally we said this topic didn't have any legs, and now we've realised there's quite a lot of legs to it. Stay
Okay.
tuned next week.
Next week, Ben Townley. All right, final topic of the day, a non-moto topic. Sent it to us by JD Beach. Do you know who JD Beach is?
No,
Oh, really?
you acted like I knew this person.
Oh, sorry.
Who's
Gosh. Road racer.
Of any a good one?
American, yeah, good.
So
Yeah.
this is a big deal.
Kinda. I mean, he's just, but he listens to our podcast and yeah, he's cool.
Is he the guy who said I did good?
No. But anyway, he sent in a topic and he wants to know, Lewis, and I'll start the timer now because you were very wary about that. Lewis, you've now spent a year traveling the circuit in the US, going to these supercross races. You're about to do it at nationals. And he wants to know, name 5 things that you're looking forward to next year at rounds that you're going back to that doesn't relate to racing. And he put in a little disclaimer in here, like he likes going to Laguna Seca, and there's a coffee shop, family-owned coffee shop that he likes going to. Nice little quaint place. Goes to New Jersey, flies into Philly, and goes to get the OG Philly cheesesteak, which you're out on, I know.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah. But he just wants to know, like outside of racing, which we know you're super ingrained in and you love, what are some of the things that excite you about going to the races?
I'd say I'm indifferent to racing.
Okay. Yeah.
One, when we went to Glendale this year, this is going to be such a random pull, it's going to shock you. When we went to Glendale this year, they were building a resort next to the stadium with a theme park and stuff. Excited to go back there and see what that turns out to be.
Okay.
Because I did a little Google, and it looks quite amazing.
Yeah, are we gonna stay there for like $1,000 a night?
I'm
Next year?
hoping to get a hotel there cheap.
Cheap, yeah.
I'm hoping that if we book early enough, maybe.
Like right now.
You saw it though.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
like as you roll into the stadium, there was like a corkscrew, like roller coaster that just stopped.
Yeah,
and I was like, is that supposed to be like that? Oh, it's not finished yet. Okay.
Yeah, so I googled it, and the like concept art looked quite impressive.
Okay.
Glendale is the best stop on the tour.
I love Glendale.
I love it.
It's
too.
a really good one.
I would live in Arizona.
Oh,
I would genuinely live there
it gets
because that is the positive impact that the Glendale Supercross has had on me.
all right.
That it's warped my brain that much. So that's one. 2.
And we're done.
2. What did I do this year? Did I do anything interesting? Not really.
You want to go to the Rocky Steps in Philly, so we got to do that.
Yeah, I didn't do that. But then part of me wants to go because I like the Rocky movies.
So,
but
let
then
me ask
also
you
they're
this.
just steps.
We've already had like this landmark discussion about whether you enjoy landmarks because we're talking about things to do, Zoo
Mhm.
Aquarium, and then I was like, what about Mount Rushmore? So like Seattle, for example, do you want to go in the Space Needle?
I went and saw it last year.
Okay.
That's it. I went and saw it.
That's
Didn't
it.
go in it.
Yeah.
Took a photo, looked at the photo, went, that's a bit shit, and left.
And then like Indianapolis, do you want to go to like Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
No.
No, don't care.
All the same, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Not really.
All of the speedways are the same.
That facility holds 400,000 people.
Okay.
It's not the same.
Okay, it's got more seats.
It's got a golf course built into it.
Oh. Watched an interesting documentary last night about the Disney World Speedway.
Yeah.
Yep. Didn't know that existed.
It was a triangle in the south parking lot of Disney World. Yep.
Didn't know that existed. Give me some others. I went to a mini golf place in Denver. Absolutely shocking. You're there for the spirit of the game.
Really missed my invite for this.
This was last year.
Oh.
A good competition. It's taking the ball in the roof. It's playing music. And I'm hitting the ball trying to get a hole in one. My ball's in the roof, flying around the place. And I'm just like, lads, I'm here for a serious game of mini golf. My ball was in the roof.
For those of you listening at home, we went to Pop Stroke at Glendale this year, which is a Tiger
Great
Woods
place.
design thing. So it's like more serious mini golf. And I thought that Lewis only took it more serious because it was more serious looking. Apparently, no.
No, competition.
Very heavy on mini golf competitions.
Any competition.
Oh, okay.
What is the point otherwise? There is
To go
no
hang
point.
out with your friends and just
Nope.
have fun.
Okay, let's go to a beach then. If we're going to go and we're going to start a game, like, let's go shoot pool. Okay, I'm going to be trying my hardest to win. And if I don't win, I'm going to be judging myself and really, like, analysing what I can do better for the next game.
Okay.
Anyway.
Let's get back on topic here, though. Like, going to these cities, like, what...
Indy was nice. Didn't do anything there, but it was
but
nice.
when you go to these places, as he said, he likes to find, like, a local shop. Is there something that you go to a city for the first time and you're like, all right, I should have a look at this, or I should do this?
Well, I checked to see if there's a Chipotle near my hotel.
That's it, Chipotle.
Well, because that's just a good, like...
Because we know
backup.
Steve plans out his Starbucks, so you plan out your Chipotle, so that's fair.
Well, no, I don't have to have but it's just like my first, like, what we're going to be busy tomorrow. What can I eat on the way to the stadium?
Yep.
I don't want a McDonald's or shit like that. Chipotle is a kind of reasonable alternative.
Rest in peace, our McDonald's sponsorship. Yep.
Yeah, that was coming, wasn't it? That's also a good film. The Founder,
Yeah, the founder.
really good film. I was going to say The Intern, but that isn't. That's kind of irrelevant, isn't it? No, I don't really do much. Maybe I need to do more.
Well, so like what I'm asking is when you're going to a new city, let's say you go to a new city literally just for the purpose of going to the city. Like what's your first line of business that you want to do? Like do you want to sightsee? Do you want to go to landmarks? Do you want to go to a baseball game?
I don't
know.
have a agenda. I go there for the race.
I'm just asking if you were to go
on holiday.
Yeah. Let's say you were to go to Dallas for the first time, just like randomly.
No, I'd need an activity. I'd need to go to like...
So like at Dallas, for example, right next to the stadium is Six Flags. Would you go there?
That looks shit.
Oh, okay.
I drove past it because I stayed next to it, looked at it, took a video of it, sent it to someone and went, this looks fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to do more. Maybe this has just made me realise that.
Well, the harsh reality of our job is that there's not really time.
No.
Like, we don't get to.
But
We don't get
also-
to like go and be like, what coffee shop looks cool or whatever. It's like work, 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 sleep, work, 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 plane.
But also, if I imagine like that there is time, I can't really think of anything I would do. Like in Seattle, I walked down to the Ferris wheel and had a look at that.
Okay.
That's all right.
Do you go to Pike's Place or whatever in Seattle? Did you check that out?
I think so.
Yeah, it's like one of the more
Seattle's
famous, where
probably the-
Starbucks was founded.
Seattle's probably the one place where I've seen the most of it.
Well, it's nice because it's right downtown. Like
Yeah.
anywhere there's a stadium right downtown, and you stayed downtown
Yes.
this year, so you got to like actually, as you
Yeah, that
do,
makes a
walk to the
difference.
amenities.
Yes.
Um,
Um.
is there a city that this year we went to that you didn't stay down? You wish you did?
No, I believe that every time it's possible, I make it happen.
Okay.
Like possible cost-wise and stuff like that.
Well, like, did you stay downtown in Denver?
No, but kinda. I was in between the airport and downtown.
Because that's like we're right next to downtown there, not.
Yeah, but that was really expensive, so I was.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like, if you wanted to, you're like, I wish I could have seen more of downtown Denver.
No, because I feel like I saw the mini golf ball go in the roof, so I'm pretty much done with Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Can't imagine they've got much else to offer, to be honest.
Did you go to Meow Wolf? Is that where you went?
No.
Okay.
Is that a mini golf place? I've
No,
always wondered
but-
what that is.
You know, right next to the stadium,
yep.
there's that
Yep, saw
massive
it.
like rainbow building.
Yeah, Meow Wolf. I see it everywhere, but I don't have a clue what it is.
It's just like kind of like an adult playground, like really is what you'd call it. Like it's got all these like games and things to do inside.
so
You
like
can
a
drink
Dave
in
and
there
Buster's.
Well, gnarlier than that.
How can it be gnarlier?
Because it's like you'd have to see it to believe it. Like I'll show you pictures
Okay,
after.
well,
It's
the
just, like,
branding
neon and
needs
like
work.
dancing and all this stuff.
'Cause
Huh?
the branding needs work, because Meow Wolf did not tell me that this was an adult place.
Okay. Well, apologies.
No, yeah, so I've kind of just completely butchered that question, to be honest. So maybe I need to broaden my horizons.
So next year, A1 will go Friday night to Disneyland. Then at like San Diego, we'll go to the zoo. Then Glendale will do this roller coaster thing. We'll just
Well, no, actually, all of those sound good except for the zoo.
okay. Glendale will do the roller coaster thing. Dallas could go to Fort Worth and see the marching of the bulls.
I don't know what that is.
They do like a thing in downtown Fort Worth where they like line up a bunch of longhorn steer.
Don't care.
Okay.
Over it.
So then we'll go to Six Flags. Or do you want to go see where JFK was assassinated?
See, like, I also don't care about theme parks. This is a weird Lewis personality trait. I only care about theme parks if they are themed.
Okay.
So, like Six Flags, where you just go and it's just
Rides.
a load of rides. I don't really get it.
You ride for the adrenaline rush.
Yeah, but I also need a bit of the pizzazz around it.
The pizzazz is where it's lacking.
Yes.
You need like
I can't just go
characters and
No, well, just like, a vibe.
a vibe.
I don't want to go to a parking lot and there's a couple of rides.
Okay.
I need a bit of like a, I don't know what this is.
I'm trying to think. So like obviously this weekend is a home race. Hangtown, there's not like a lot
Well,
to
no,
do in
outdoors
Sacramento.
is just a...
Yeah, but like so for example, Thunder Valley, it is 5 to 10 minutes away from Red Rock Amphitheater. And sometimes they have like really cool concerts there. It's an amphitheater built in like this big, like looks like a national park level, like rock. Like there's crazy rock formations everywhere. So like we could go do that at Thunder Valley.
But why?
Just to see stuff. JD wants to know. What do you like doing at these races, Lewis?
I don't like coffee, so that hurts my coffee shop experience.
Do we need to find tea? For
No, I
you?
don't like tea. I don't like hot drinks.
Do we need to find a monster store for you here?
Well, yeah, they're called 7-Elevens. I don't like hot drinks, so I'm out on all of that.
Okay.
Yeah, sad.
All right. Well, then next year we're gonna have to come up with a plan to make Lewis's experiences better here.
Yeah, guess so.
All right. Sad.
Can we invite Chase? It's a joke. Yep, good.
Okay. Good deal. All right, that's going to do it for our episode here of EVS Sports LVK More Than Moto podcast, previewing pro motocross and deep diving on a bunch of fun topics. Fox Raceway coming up this weekend. Be sure to check it out on Peacock. I'm not sure. Is it live on USA this weekend or something like that? Well, it's live on Peacock.
Yeah.
But, anyway, be sure to check it out. We'll be covering the race. We'll be checking out all the action and rehashing stuff next week about everything in between. We'll probably be talking about like 7th place riders though, because we expect the lead battles to be interesting, but we'll have already covered those by Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, and also an obvious topic for this week would have been the MXGP drama, but I did the MXGP podcast show on Vital this morning, and I put myself in way too much trouble, so I didn't suggest that today because I don't want to double down on that.
Oh, so you came into this already a little weary because of what you said this morning.
Yes.
Well, check it out then, because
that's why that isn't here.
got some fun Lewis topics.
I feel like people would expect it to be here.
Next week, or not, the next GP is 2 weeks from now. Yeah.
Weekend off.
After that one, then we'll rehash all the drama that happened in France, because there was yellow flags and sloshing.
Wait, why would we do that? No, it's done now.
Yeah, no, because then we'll have answers probably, right?
No, there won't be answers.
Oh, we're not going to have Davide say something?
Who?
David?
Oh, fuck, that's... no.
No, he's not going to come out and jump ahead of this?
That's not what they do. They don't do statements.
All right, well, that's LVK More Than Moto episode number 18. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next week after Fox Raceway to discuss everything and more than moto.